Hello, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Marcus Jones from Entertainment Weekly, and welcome to a wonderful reunion of the cast of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, which will soon be available to stream on Disney+. Joining us joining us today are Brandy, who played Cinderella, Paolo Montalban, who played Prince Christopher, Whoopi Goldberg, who played Queen Constantina, Victor Garber, who played King Maximillian, Veanne Cox, who played Calliope, Bernadette Peters, who played Stepmother. I wish she had a name, but I believe it's Stepmother. The wonderful Stepmother. And then, of course, Jason Alexander, who played Lionel. How's everyone doing?
Great.
We're great. We're so good.
Oh, of course we mentioned Whoopi Goldberg as Queen Constantina, but it's worth mentioning again.
Sure.
I like the crown, Miss Whoopi. Yeah.
Well, you know, I took it with me.
Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella.
The world is full of zanies and fools.
Share the love.
Who don't believe in sensible rules.
Of a true classic.
Impossible things are happening.
It's the fabulous fairy tale your family will enjoy forever. Disney's Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella.
I wanted to start first. How does it feel to be a part of something that's not only considered timeless, but that's thought to have gotten better with age?
It feels like we were very fortunate to be put together, and nobody knows at the time you do anything what the impact is going to be, and this has clearly had an impact, and I think everyone here is really grateful to be a part of it.
Yes, I am super excited. This project changed my life, and I know it changed so many lives, and I'm just so happy to join you guys today and to just talk about just all of the times that we had, and that it gets to be, shared with everyone on Disney Plus. This is just so amazing. I'm just so excited. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little more bubbly than everybody else, it seems, but I don't care. I don't care. I'm excited.
It was an honor to be part of something so wonderful back then, and even now, and it was multicultural, and it was just so wonderful that children that were watching it could just enjoy it, and all the different kinds of people that were in it, and not even question it, just enjoy it, and it's
yes.
Wonderful, just wonderful.
Yeah.
We were Hamilton before Hamilton.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
The gauntlet has been thrown.
Exactly.
I love that she can say everything that we want to say.
Well, bringing that up, I think this type of film, people will use any excuse to bring up or reference. Are there any instances you all can think of where you were surprised the film came up after all these years?
There are very few weeks that go by, even now, after how many years, 25, that somebody does not come up to me and say how much it meant and how much it changed their lives and how much it started their lives.
Wow.
Yeah.
The point where Cinderella changed people's lives and started a new life, a new way of seeing things. And I very often all the time people come up to me and say that, and it's so wonderful.
I know. I can just say that it was a game changer. Like, it was just so different, and it just gave everyone an opportunity to just play, these iconic characters, and see it in a different way. It just was it was just so magical.
There's a great thing that happens, as Veanne says, it does come up when you meet people often, and they talk about this particular Cinderella, and they claim it, and they go, Brandy was my Cinderella.
Oh yeah.
They own you.
So sweet when they say that.
It is so amazing, and we're talking about Hamilton as a cross reference. It's the same feeling that I got when I went to see Hamilton, and at intermission I was sitting behind an African American family, and at intermission the 12-year-old boy jumped up and went, "Mom, I could be George Washington. And I went, yes. And, and that is sort of the ownership that or just discovering it. And then I also meet people a generation up from that, and you were their Cinderella. And that's how they claim it. It's fantastic.
Well, I do ask, like, I am someone where Brandy was my Cinderella. And of course, after watching this film and then going back to the Disney animated version, it was like, turn that off. I got to turn back. I want Brandy again.
Thank you.
But I do wonder, like, who were your Cinderellas, or what was your relationship to the Cinderella story prior to joining the film?
Well, for me, Cinderella is my favorite Disney princess. So, to get that kind of opportunity, I was blown away. And then to just work with the kind of people, like everyone here on this panel, I had never been around that level of talent, and just unbelievable. I don't even know if I answered your question.
I think most of us are old enough, except for maybe Paolo and Brandy, to have grown up with Julie Andrews and Leslie Ann Warren, and then Brandy. I mean, maybe there were many. And the first one, which was the cartoon that we
the cartoon version is like it's my favorite.
I have a confession to make. You guys didn't know this.
You never
I'm
saw
gonna. No, I actually played the Prince before in high school.
Wow.
This version.
And Rodgers, really? How do you not tell anybody that?
I don't know. I forgot.
I feel like we should have known that.
I got a little head start, but you guys made it a lot more special than the high school production. I loved it, but I mean, you changed my life, and you changed the life of so many people that I run into to this day. To this day, they say that Brandy as Cinderella changed the way that they looked at themselves growing up. That anything's possible for them too. So sorry, I'm getting a little emotional.
No,
it's so important.
I have to say that I get stopped a lot about Cinderella, but I remember distinctly walking onto the set and never actually feeling that there was anything different about it. I remember, that Whoopi and I were married, and that, that Paolo was our son. It all just felt like, oh, aren't we
natural?
Aren't we just adorable, And it was funny. I mean, I think everybody just felt completely comfortable.
Yeah, we weren't diverse. We were adorable.
Yeah. we were a family. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, one thing is, coming in as a cast, did it immediately feel like everything worked out the way it was meant to? I mean, Paolo, we're just learning you had played Prince Charming before. Reading about the film, it's funny to think of how Whoopi was once thought of for the stepmother, and then it went in a different direction, and some were afraid to take the stepmother role. But then you took that role, Bernadette, did it so wonderfully, and Brandy was such a fan of you in particular with you going in. So I just wanted to know, did it feel like everything was meant to be the way it was when it happened?
I do. But usually when somebody does, says, well, that one's not quite right for me, and then that happens a lot to me anyway, I have to say, where, there's like sometimes if I'm not supposed to do something, there's no way in hell I'm doing it. There's all kinds of stops along the way. But for this, I think it was just, here's the script. I love the role. It's so much fun. It's Rodgers and Hammerstein, Cinderella. By the way, I had a Cinderella watch growing up when I was and I thought, this will be fun. This will be great. This is wonderful. Whoopi and Victor and Brandy. And so Jason, I had so many fun scenes with Jason. What could be bad? It just clicks, and me. So
no one in their right mind could ever have thought I could have sung.
But you did. You did.
No, but nobody in their right, I could not have done it. Do you know what I'm saying? That wasn't my part. I was supposed to be the queen. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have them vocals going. for sure.
But I couldn't,
Act like you didn't make choir sing and
No,
Cinderella.
but when I think of the weight of the role, no one in their right mind would have said, let's put Whoopi in it because she can do that. Because I could do what I did, and that's why I could do it. That's why I could do it, because it was just like that much, and I was like whoosh, and it was fantastic. But I want to also say that a lot of this, I think, came from the heart and soul of Whitney.
Wow.
I know that a lot of what you're seeing is what she wanted,
envisioned. Yes.
And Deborah Chase, wasn't it? Deborah
Martin
Chase?
Chase, yes.
Deborah Martin Chase, that's right.
Deborah Chase.
And I was watching last
Craig
night.
Zayton and Neil Marin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Whitney actually said Brandy should be doing Cinderella and called you up. I was watching that whole thing last night. It was so lovely to see both of you and see you in the recording studio.
Yes, that was one of the best days of my life, is to be in the studio singing with, my idol, my angel.
Why are you down there? Please do that. It's that.
Just a beautiful relationship with Whitney, and just for her to, consider me for the role, it was unbelievable, because I spent my whole childhood wanting to sing and meet Whitney. Yeah. Nobody could have told me in a million years I would be working with her, working with you, and working with Whoopi and the whole cast. No one could have ever told me that. So, and I believe them. So I'm just Whitney is everything.
Well, she was so loving to you in that recording. So encouraging, a mentor, and so smart, and so just fabulous, just fabulous.
And she had a magic about her that I felt like I could just be myself. I didn't have to, when you're working with your idols, you don't know, how to act. But she made me feel safe to be myself and really give the character all I could give. And I was in a safe place with all of you. So, yeah.
I was going to ask a little bit about that. Is that a piece of the film that you really cherish? Because Bernadette, you mentioned there's some famous behind the scenes moments, especially between Brandy and Whitney. And it's so funny to watch how the camera would show that, but then it would go to like a talking head of Whitney, and she'd be so stately. And then you'd see her on set actually doing the work and have so much fun and being very loving and personable. Yeah. So was that the experience, her being like loving, personable, and fun on set? And is that, again, something you cherish about the film, that it preserves that memory of Whitney, even within the role of fairy godmother, which is very diva and funny and such a delightful character?
Well, Brandy
had
with Whitney.
Yes.
So Brandy would be the one that would.
Yes, I mean, she just made everything, I was in awe of her in every scene I did with her. I just loved just working with her. Very professional, on point, but loving, and she just really adored me and took me under her wing and just helped me with everything. So, she definitely brought that sunshine to the set, for sure, for me, all the time.
It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's
There was a really sweet moment, Brandy. I don't know, it may have gone right by you, but I guess I was waiting to do something in the recording studio, and you and Whitney were rehearsing one of the tunes, and Whitney did some little gorgeous filigree, riff on the end of a note, and you went, "Oh my God, please do that!"
Yes!
And Whitney was like, "You think? Really?" I mean, she really didn't know what she owned, and it took you to go, "Oh, please do that." It was
please do that.
Sweet moment.
And then I asked her to also come, move away from the mic so I can be heard. And when you hit your notes, just move, far back so they can still hear my harmony. So we had beautiful moments.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Another person that I wanted to bring up is, of course, Natalie DeSalle-Reed. Isn't able to be here, but she did wonderful work, especially, of course, with Brandy, Bernadette, Jason, Veanne. I wanted to ask a little about how did you all together find those comedic moments? Because especially the back and forth, whether it's at the ball, Veanne and Natalie rushing to get over, and Bernadette, you trying to convince Jason to give her daughters a chance. If you could share a memory of Natalie, and also just what was it like building those big comedic beats together?
Well, I'll just say, because I consider Natalie my sister from
I
met her in the audition. We went into the audition room together, and we completely fell in love with each other from the moment we met. And there was never a challenge with her to make something funny. She was this naturally fun, hilarious human being, both on screen and off. And I told some of the people before we got on that I put on my Facebook page how much I loved her and how much I will miss her, and that she is now making the heavens howl.
Oh, why would a fellow want a girl like her? So obviously unusual. Why can a fellow ever once prefer a usual girl like me?
I remember moments where she would say something and I would literally fall down on the ground laughing.
Laughing out loud, yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember, my moments with the three of you, the family Ellas, were few. But I do remember walking in, and we had sufficient but small rehearsal time, and these scenes are, they need nuanced funny to make them really. And you always think, are we gonna have enough time? And you would walk in with Bernadette and did like one first rehearsal, some little quirky scene, and I went, women have this down. They had worked out the family dynamic of how these sisters were different and who took after them. It was just a great little comic trio, and I don't think the three of you had a nanosecond to figure out how you were going to execute all that, but it was just this very natural chemistry.
Yeah.
I think we just appreciated everyone and trusted each other and enjoyed each other and let each other, do their little thing, and just we knew together it was happening, and we appreciated it, and we loved doing the scenes with you because you were happening. So it was alive. It just was alive.
Yeah.
It was a real ensemble. It was a true ensemble.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we all supported each other so much.
It wasn't ever, you don't see any one-upsmanship.
No upstaging.
Everybody did what they do. And it was all appreciated and all fun. And we all, I think, understood that this was one of those unique times where it just works. And there's, you don't put a lot of thought into it because you know your stuff, and everybody knows their stuff. And we did our thing. We did our thing individually as a collective. It was really, you don't get a lot of these in your lifetime, and you certainly don't get a lot of moments where you sort of look over and go, now that's something you don't see every day. You don't get a lot of those in your life, but this whole experience became that. And when I think for me, when I look back and I think about it, because I was telling Bernadette and Veanne, my great-granddaughter and I were watching, and she wanted to know, I was telling Veanne, she wanted to know why I was wearing a crown. What's the deal with the crown? And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, are you a princess? And I said, no, I'm a queen.
Okay.
You're a queen? I said, yeah. And I explained that I had, I had crowns. Hadn't she seen them? Hadn't she go? So I took her, because I have several in my closet. And so I brought them out. These are my crowns. I thought you saw these. And she's like, no. And then she wanted to know, was she a princess? I said, well, no, I'm a queen. She wanted to know if she was a queen. I said, no. But maybe in time.
Oh my gosh.
But it gave it gives a different thing, because we all had those fabulous watches, the Cinderella watch, with the blue thing.
Yes.
But never, when I was little, did I ever think her face would be brown.
Mm-hmm.
And then here you come. Here you come.
I didn't either.
And suddenly everybody's kind of going, I didn't know I was missing that. I didn't know I needed to see
Oh,
that.
wow.
And it has so many layers, this tiny little thing we did for ABC television that we thought, oh, well, this is fun.
Yeah.
The layers of it are extraordinary.
I feel compelled to mention the director, Rob Iskov, and also the choreographer, Rob Marshall.
Yes.
Rob Marshall.
Some pretty impressive things. And I can't, am I wrong? Because I get confused now with what things I've done. I'm not going to go into that right now. But were we required to do a lot of waltzing, or was that a different?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
There's the famous waltzing.
the ballroom.
Yes, that was all waltzing.
Palace.
And I was always tripping. We were tripping over each other. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So we switched partners, and it was deadly. But it was
not even worse. It was just,
oh my gosh.
You
That's
think we have
amazing.
some rhythm, but not me. No, not for a waltz.
Yeah.
We should mention also Craig Zaden, who we lost.
Oh,
and Neil Marin, producers.
Neil
Yes.
Marin.
Well,
God bless him, Craig Zaden. We lost him about 2 years ago, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yes.
Such a friend of, he was a friend of mine for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, with that, did anyone want to share any memories of Craig?
Craig was one of the most influential people, I think, in a lot of our lives. I mean, I've known him since, they were fans outside the dressing room door, and he and Neil went on to produce so many things that I was a part of, and a lot of people here were a part of, and they were just they were quintessential. They loved show business. They were just they loved show business, and we need more people like that, because we have a lot of steps to make to get back there.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. I agree.
Yeah, I think the beautiful thing about Craig and Neil is that they're so key in really bringing that link between stage and screen and bringing all these beautiful musicals to life. With that said, one thing I wanted to ask Victor and Paolo, you two were actors who were known more for stage work going into this big TV movie production like this. Were there any growing pains that you guys went through, and what was it like working with Whoopi, and how did she help you all out?
Well, Whoopi's a nightmare. I mean, we'll just start with that.
I was waiting for someone to tell the truth.
But once we made, we ate dinner together, and it's fine. No, I was surrounded by consummate professionals and talented people who had all been in the theater. Everybody, essentially had been in the theater. So for me, it was just like stepping into another beautiful world of great talent. And it was a joy from beginning to end for me.
I just want to say for the record that to all the people who are wondering how an African-American mother and a Caucasian father can have an Asian son, the genetic math is love plus love equals love.
That's right.
That's what it felt like having Whoopi and Victor as my parents. Whoopi, I've been a huge fan of yours ever since the whole comic relief series. I mean, like, we're going to the way back, you know what I mean?
Going back,
and Victor, I mean, I watched you in Godspell in the movie, and I was such a huge fanboy. I mean, I don't know. But to answer your question, Marcus, I did start doing stage work prior to Cinderella, and I was carrying a torch on Broadway right before it. And I was so proud of that role, so proud of that role. But to be able to work with, to watch you guys work and to learn from your experience and from your talent was the greatest gift ever.
Hi, Paolo.
Oh, thank you.
That's amazing. Whoopi, one thing I wanted to ask you, just thinking about the film, is that some of your best moments in the movie are just squeaks that are just perfect.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
I wanted to know, was that scripted? How'd you come by those comedic beats? And if you want, could you do a little bit of that for us?
I'll try, but
do you remember him, Miss Whoopi?
I do. People were asking for it. I was trying to get Paolo to do something, and he was trying to explain why he wasn't going to do it, and so I did that thing that parents do when they really don't have any words that they want to share. It's just like, you know. There was another pitch in there, but I don't have it right now.
You had more range, darling. More range.
Oh my gosh.
No, I think they were mine. I think those were mine.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
They were not in the script.
No.
I don't think they were in the script, yeah.
Whoopi,
Oh my gosh.
earned those squeaks like you earned your crown.
You know,
Exactly.
so many things went into those squeaks.
Yeah.
But we raised a great kid, you know. And I will say, Paolo, that, when it comes to people of color, particularly women, we're never sure entirely what hue our children may take on. Because we have so many different mixes in us that to me it's not my kid looks like you. My son that looks like you. So you never know.
Yeah.
Anywho.
That's great. One thing I wanted to ask is, of course, it's worth mentioning again, this is Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella.
Yes.
And one really great thing about the film is that not only does it bring songs from the musical, but it brings other songs from Rodgers and Hammerstein's songbook. Of course, Bernadette, I wanted to ask, what was it like to have the pleasure of bringing in, really developing a song that wasn't in the musical before with, of course, the director, writer, Craig and Neil?
Well, what was so good about it is that it fit the scene perfectly. I homage when you try to put a show together with a bunch of songs and they don't hold together and they don't make sense. This totally made sense, and so it was perfect. It was just part of the whole character, part of what she was trying to do and trying to get her daughters ready and kind of ignoring Cinderella. And getting to the ball. So it was a perfect song for the scene. So it was wonderful. It fit in great, just great.
Falling in love with love is falling for make-believe. Falling in love with love is playing the fool. Caring too much is such a juvenile fancy. Learning to trust is just for children in school.
One thing I have to mention in it being a musical, and I think, Jason, I'm going to go to you for this because the answer to both these questions might be the same one. What's everyone's favorite musical number, and what was the hardest number to prepare for?
I was just going to say my favorite number in the film is actually in some ways one of the simplest, but I also think it's the bravest, and it's Paolo and Brandy doing, I think it's 10 minutes ago, which is shot almost in one continuous take with the two of them just dancing, looking at each other, singing that song. You see the ball around them because the camera's constantly swirling with them. But the bravery that Rob Iscove and Rob Marshall had of just trusting the song, trusting those actors, putting the audience in that gaze with them and going, it will hold, it will be enough. That to me was one of the most brilliant and effective numbers in the film. The other one that was the big number I had to prepare for was the Rob Marshall extravaganza in the marketplace. And I always have to thank Rob Marshall and every choreographer I've ever had, because people think I can dance. And the truth is, I'm a mover, but they surround me with some of the best dancers in the damn business who just up my game and go, well, I guess he's blending in. So,
that charisma too, though.
Oh, bless your heart. That was just so much fun to do a number that size. Those are usually numbers that are done in animation style in a Disney film. And here we were on that backlot doing this for real, with Rob pulling every stop out to make it that much fun. It was great. It was great fun.
And I love that in that number, just the joke about the middle names.
Yeah, exactly.
Anytime. It was funny, but it also gave you a chance to breathe because you were speaking a mile a minute during that stuff. Oh my gosh. One thing I wanted to bring up is, of course, you guys had talked about how when people saw it, it really changed the minds of people who weren't used to it before. But I can say that, like I said, my experience is that this is my Cinderella. And so I'm a part of the generation where this is all that I knew, that this type of story could be told in such a multicultural way and represent every facet of my being. And so one moment I think that speaks to that so well, and I want to know, Brandy, your feeling and everyone's reaction to it, is just what was it like to have your Cinderella moment and be in that blue dress descending into the ball? Did you have to take a breath beforehand or realize the poignancy of it?
Honestly, I had to take multiple breaths just because, there's a moment where you realize that this is really happening. This is really, happening in this moment. And I had to take it all in, being that young and being in such a, I don't know, in that space, it just was, it was overwhelming, but it was something I would never forget, for sure.
Yeah.
It was not hard to act, Marcus. It was just not hard it was not hard. You didn't have to act because all of the storytelling came together, and then there she was. Mm-hmm. It was breathless. It was breathtaking. So it was not something that you had to manufacture. Actually, most of this show just lent itself to the beauty of the storytelling. Mm-hmm. And we're all good actors. I try to be a good actor, but it really was sort of, I'm not saying that we weren't acting, but it made it really easy.
I want to say thank you for saying that, Deanne. I'm going to echo that and say that when Brandy came out in her Cinderella dress, no acting required. And actually, I had to take maybe 10 extra breaths because she was so stunning. She was just so stunning at the top of the staircase. And they probably took the first take because, I just recently saw that portion of it. And it was like, this man is not breathing because he's seen the love of his life appear at the top of the stairs.
Also, by the way, you have to give a little bit of kudos, not only to how Brandy looked in that dress, but Ellen Mirojnick and the costumes in that movie are off the charts. I remember coming in for a very early call one morning. It was like 5 or 6 in the morning. And Ellen Mirojnick was sitting there hand painting details onto the cuffs of sleeves because her crew wasn't big enough to get the job done. I mean, that was the dedication and the vision.
Yeah.
Everybody behind the scenes working on that movie, it was not what we would say, it wasn't over budgeted. It was modestly budgeted. And they made it look like it was a gigantic $100 million production. It is as beautiful a motion picture as I've ever seen. And only because of the artists behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's amazing. as
Set,
well.
Randy Sir did the set, and that was amazing too. You can't stop staring at all how gorgeous it was, and all the little hand paintings on it, and Ellen, amazing, just amazing.
Not to mention the real Harry Winston jewels that they kept taking away from Whoopi with the guards. After every
With the bodyguards.
would come over and take those jewels.
Did you take any of those
Oh
home?
my
I know.
goodness, Whoopi!
Well, look, I felt if I was going to be a queen, I should have real jewelry. I called over to them and said, would y'all do this for us? Now, remember, I don't know if you know this, but I also did this with the Muppets. When Piggy and I did Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, I called them and I said, listen, I'm doing the Muppets and we're singing Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. And the guy said, and you want some diamonds, don't you? I said, I would and they sent us $200 million worth of jewelry to choose from. Of course, the guys were standing right there, but and so we knew it was real. The audience hopes that it's real, but it was just a little thing. And I've trained myself not to be sticky fingered. They're very comfortable loaning me things because they know they're going to get back what they gave me. But I had a bracelet on I really liked.
Miss Whoopi, do you remember telling me? Wait, say that last part again. I didn't mean to cut you off. I
between
missed.
husbands at the time. Not a bracelet,
I was going to ask you, do you remember pulling me to the side about the diamonds and saying, see, you young, but as you get older, you got to get you some relationships. So your next films and movies that you do, somebody can come and bring you some gifts and some diamonds. That always stuck with me.
Because,
it's your relationships and
people, because I was friends with his son, with Harry's son. And so I could call because they trusted me. And so I always like to say to people, listen, you can do anything you want to if people believe you. If they believe in you and they trust you, it can make life rather silly and fun, which is how I've always looked at it. I always want to be a little silly and a little fun. But I have to make note of something, Brandon, because I don't know whether you even know it. You're standing at the top of the stairs and your hands are down and you're looking, and then you went like this and your face lit the room. It's in my mind, it's you standing there going, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, because I'm really here. Oh my God, what? Oh yes, okay, I'm moving. And you came down.
Yes.
And it was wonderful to see because I remembered that moment for me. I remembered that moment when I thought, oh my God, look at what I'm doing. And I think we all have those moments. Yeah, but it was great for me to see yours.
Thank you. I feel like I'm having an oh my God today. That's why I'm not all the way as settled as I should be. But
so am I.
But yeah.
But one thing I wanted to ask as we're wrapping is just what does it mean for you all that this film is now coming to Disney Plus? Because the journey, of course, was that it opened Wonderful World of Disney in 1997. And then it's just taken on such a life of its own, but people haven't been able to stream it. So I'm sure you all were well aware of the demand for it. So what is it like now that it's gonna finally be accessible to so many families out there who may have not seen it or want to watch it again and show it to their
It's the perfect time for it to come out. This is the perfect time.
It really is.
There are no mistakes.
Absolutely.
This is the time.
And people get to experience it, the people that haven't experienced it, and then those that have get to relive it over and over and over and over. And I'm just so blessed for it to go on Disney Plus. wow,
I agree with Victor. It's the perfect time. It's the perfect
it
time
is.
to see love and multicultural and just right now in the world
Diversity.
needed, you know, the normal.
I'd like to say that it's the fans, the fans, the fans, the fans, the fans. You guys made this possible.
Thank you.
You put the posts up on social media. You wrote all those articles, loving our show, and thank you, Disney. Thank you, Rodgers and Hammerstein. But thank you to the fans, the fans, the fans. You guys are the best.
First of all, I just want to say it's been a dream talking to you all. And like I said, this movie really means a lot to me. I'm sure I have the VHS somewhere around here. I need to go pull it out again. Excited for it to be on Disney Plus. But yeah, just wanted to say that real quick.
No, thank you for your time today, and we can tell just your love for the work, and
You
we
haven't
appreciate
stopped
that.
Yeah, you've had the on your face the whole time. So yeah.
Well, thank you. All right. We hope you enjoyed today's presentation. I'd like to say another thank you to our panelists, Brandy, Paolo Montalban, Whoopi Goldberg, Victor Garber, Veanne Cox, Bernadette Peters, and Jason Alexander. Relive the magic of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella when it comes to Disney Plus at the stroke of midnight, Friday, February 12th.